Hello everyone, welcome to my YouTube channel. It's Norden with you today. And today, you know what we're gonna do? We're gonna do a to-do list, which is a really interesting project. And I think that it's very popular when you finish learning your JavaScript. You're gonna find it on Google Chrome or on the internet. So I found that it would be a good choice. So first thing, I'm just gonna show you quickly that's what we're going to build. So let's go to that thing. So here we go. We're gonna build this project basically. So here in this input, I'm just gonna say anything basically to do. Let's say 1, 2 dash do 2, 2 dash do 3. And when I once click it with my mouse, it's gonna complete it, as you see here. And when I double click it, it's gonna remove it, which is pretty cool, right? So we're gonna be building this website, and if you're ready, let's get started. So first thing I'm gonna do is create a new folder in my desktop. I'm just going to create it in my desktop, but you can create it wherever you want. So let's create it, new folder, and I'm gonna call it 2-2-list. And let's place it nicely in here, and let's open up our Visual Studio Code, and I'm gonna open folder for my workspace. Actually, what you can do is add folder to your workspace or open your workspace. So I'm just gonna go to upper corner right here. I'm gonna choose file, and I'm gonna choose open folder. So that's gonna open me a folder for my workspace. So let's go to desktop and choose this 2-2-list. Save. Save. You're gonna get a bunch of questions. Never mind it. So now I have my to-do list project. So now inside it, I don't have any files yet. Actually, in this video, we're gonna use HTML, CSS, and JavaScript, and so I'm gonna create them now. So first I'll say index.html and style.css, and finally script.js. So first I'm gonna go to index.html and put my boilerplate. So alright, I'll say 2-2 list, and let's link my style sheet quickly in here. Link, link style.css, and let me connect my script as well. So what you would usually do when you're connecting your JavaScript is you would write it right here, like this script, but because why you would write it at the end of the body is because JavaScript should look to it after after the document. So to do that, you can also put it in the header, but the thing that you're gonna do is just say defer here, and that's gonna look to the script after the document, which is nice. So now let's put our container right here, and that's gonna contain all of our codes. So I'll say dash container, dot container, and inside I'm gonna have to do container. So 2-2 container, and inside it I'm gonna have all of the items that we're gonna have. First I'm gonna have new to do, new dash to do inputs. So I'll say inputs, and I'll have this I'll give this a placeholder of, say, enter and new 2-2, and I'll give this a class of to do, which is gonna be a utility class, and I'll give this an ID of new dash to do. So, and then we're gonna have a container for our upcoming to-dos. So I'll say upcoming, let's get it in parentheses actually, upcoming to do's, to dash do's container. Alright, I'll say to dash do's container. Alright, I'm not gonna write anything here. We're gonna use JavaScript to do. Oh, so when we click enter in our keyboard, that will give us a new to do. Let's close this up and let's do some core styling first. Core styling means just basic styling, and we'll do ampersand. Ampersand selects all of the things inside our HTML document, either it's input or body or div or paragraph, anything. So we're gonna choose ampersand, and for everything basically I'll use box sizing border box. I'll use margin 0, padding 0. By default you'll have some padding and margin, so I'm gonna delete that. By default you're also gonna have black outline. I'm gonna remove it, and font family just looks ugly by default, so I'll say font family, family Arial, Helvetica, Sans Serif, which looks a little bit better, even if not the best. So I'll use container styling now. Container styling, container, and I'll use height 100 viewports height. Width is gonna be 100%. Viewports height gets 100% of your device's width, device's height. Either it's, I don't know, if my computer is height is, let's say, for example, let's say 1000 pixels, and in my phone, if it's 5000 pixels, it's gonna take up 5000 pixels in my phone, and in my laptop it's gonna take up 1000, which is nice. So, and I'll display as flex all of the items inside it, and I'll use flex direction as row. I'll say justify content to the center, align items to the center. So all right, and I'm gonna flex direction column in here because you know, it's nice to keep column, because in case if you will have more content, it will be responsive, so that's good to keep. And I'll use background of linear gradient color, and I'll say 135 degrees of you know, rotation. And I'll, for the second color, I'm gonna say 80, 52 and CC, and I'm gonna have a color of D161 FF, which is, and it will give me a great background color. And now let's open it up with live server. If you're interested what live server is, watch my introduction video. So now we have a pretty good one, right? It's similar to this one. It is very good. All right. So now I'll have a little bit of padding. Actually, I don't need it, but it's nice to keep. So padding 20 pixels. And now let's design to-do container. 2-2 container. I'll say 2-2 container. And for this, I'm gonna give some padding. Let's say 40 pixels. And display flex in case we'll have more content. That's gonna be nice. Flex direction, again, I'm gonna use column even if I don't need it. Justify content to the center, align items to the center. So that looks nice, and I'll give this a border of 22 pixels, solid and white. So let's see, so now we have a solid 2 pixel and white border, and I'll do some border radius of, let's just say 7 pixels here. Okay, that looks nice. And all right, what we need else? Now let's move on to the inputs. So I'll say new to do styling. So I'll say actually it's ID new dash to do, and for this I'll give some padding of 10 pixels and 10 pixels on top and bottom, and 15 pixels on the left and right, which is sides. And I'll use a little larger font size, so I think that looks nice. Is it similar to this one? Of course. And for the, I'm gonna remove border. I'm gonna do a little border radius of 7 pixels, and what else we need? So I think that's okay, and let's just design a placeholders a little bit. So new to do placeholder, and for this I'm gonna give a color of hex 999. That's gonna give me a little, transparent looking color. And the color itself I'm gonna change to solid black. So now the place, oh, refresh. We don't have any style, why? So alright, some errors happen often. So when the placeholder is gonna be a 999 hex value color, and when I type, the input itself is gonna be solid black, which is nice. So now let's move on to do upcoming to-dos container. So let's open parentheses and say coming to-dos to-dos container, to-dos container. I'm gonna give this a little padding, if you don't mind, and I'll use width 100%, and I'm gonna display flex. Oh, you know what? I actually don't need it. So let's see here. What do we need? So, and let's say, and for the to-do container as well, I'm gonna give width 100%. So that's gonna be nice, because if we will have some more content, like long content, it will be 100%, and this one will be 100% as well. So for the new to do, I'll also give width 100%, and for the, let's say, inputs, we didn't style inputs, that upcoming inputs styling, we use dot, no, not inputs, instead to do's. Sorry, I'm very sorry. To do's, to do, and I'll say padding 5 pixels. Well, on top and bottom I want a little bit more padding, and let's just use border bottom of 1.5 pixels solid, and I'll use hex color value of this. I think this looks let's use this one actually. Alright, so let's put it here, and let's see. Cannot see it now. Oops, why it's 100%? Oh yeah, because I gave 100% here, right? So let's remove this from here. Alright, so I'm just gonna remove it from here. Well, you know what? We have a really good property for that. I'll use fit content, and it's gonna adjust the width by looking to the contents inside it, which is pretty cool. And for the width of inputs, this I'll use 100%. Good. So, alright, that's good now. So, and for to-dos container, I'll use background white. So, and also I will also give some border radius to this of 7 pixels. And for the new to do, I'm gonna give a little bit margin of bottom, let's say 10 pixels. So is it similar with this one? Yes, similar. So alright, and I'm gonna use height 100%, or if that doesn't work, we'll use, alright, 100%. So I think that's it. Let's see. To do, Well, actually, we don't have dash here. All right. So, and color, I'll give solid black. I think that's all. All right, now let's move on to the JavaScript, and I see you in there. Alright guys, so now we have our HTML, CSS, all of that stuff. And one thing to mention, that in this to-do container, we just need to say that you want justify content at the flex start, because it should be on top always, right? So we'll say flex start. So now we have all the things for our HTML, CSS, and JavaScript, and this looks pretty nice. It's very similar to this one. So and let's just give actually a little bit more padding here, 44 pixels. So nice. So now let's add some behavior. So we're gonna use JavaScript for that. So first thing that we should do is when we click enter in our keyboard, in our laptop basically, it should get the value of this input right here and display it right here as a new to do. So let's do that. We'll just say add new to 2-2, and I'm gonna add whole event listener of key down to the whole document. Add event listener of key down. So, and when key gets pressed, any key, this function runs, and let's pass in a parameter called event inside it. And let's just quickly say here, so when any key gets pressed, it's just quickly gonna check event.key. What event means is a triggered button of a key down. For example, if I press W or A, it's gonna give me all of the properties and information about that key. And event.key gives us the key basically. For example, if I press W, it's gonna give me W, or if I press A, it's gonna give me A. And if event.key is equal to enter, then it just quickly checks if our input right here. So we'll get it ID new to do, get elements by ID new dash to do dot value is the inner, let's just say that it's like inner HTML of an input. So we use value dot just gives me some recommendations. Dot value dot length. Actually, we don't need length. If our input value is equal to empty string, then we want to alert saying that enter and new 2-2. So alright, but in other situations, if it doesn't equal to empty string, then we want to create new div basically. So we'll say var new to do that equals document create element called div, let's say, and to this div we're gonna add a class of, let's tap into its class list, and we'll add a class called to do. So alright, and new to do dot inner HTML HTML equals to our inputs value. So the documents get elements by ID new dash to do dot value. So alright, and we want to append our new to do to our div with the class of to do's container. So we'll say append child just gets the item inside something, so it just appends the child. So let's say documents first. Before appending child, we would say to what we want to append. For example, in this case, I want to append it to to-dos, to-dos, container. Remember that when you use classes, you should always define the position, because classes are used multiple. You can use classes multiple times in your HTML, but when you're using IDs, you don't specify the position because you use it only once. So when you use classes, it gives you array, so you should choose the position. For example, in this case, I want the position at 0. Remember that in programming, we always count from 0. So to this to-dos container, I want to append child, our new to-do. All right. So now we have our thing. So now whenever I type something and enter, so that gives me this kind of new to do. So alright, I think that looks nice. And actually, let's say that I want font size of 22 pixels. It would be nice. So that looks good. And let's say here 7 pixels. Alright, that looks very good. So alright, so that's it. So the last thing left is when we click it once, it should complete the task, and when we double click it, it should remove. So let's just quickly do that. So on complete the to do on click, let's say. So now we'll get our new to do, and we'll say on click. We'll run this whole anonymous function, and we're gonna tap into this class list, and we're gonna add a class called complete, which we're gonna style in our CSS now. And now let's just quickly do on double click, which should remove it. Remove the to do on double click. So we'll say new to do double click on double click. And we want to run a whole anonymous function, and we want to just remove it. This means the triggered button. For example, if I press any of the key, it's gonna get that triggered new to do. So I want to remove it. All right. I think that's nice. So now let's go ahead and style our complete. So, and actually we should have our to-dos container right here. All right. So now we want complete, complete styling. So I'll say complete, just turns the opacity to 0.5, which is 0.5, and the color to, oh no, not color, but text decoration to line through. So it's just gonna cross the text. So now let's try it out if it's working. So now when I just click it once, it's just complete, and when I double click it, it just removes, which is pretty cool, right? So now it's wrap up for this project. Hope you guys enjoyed it, and I see you in my next videos. Bye bye.